Okay, let's talk about browser use agents. Now, you probably have noticed something if you have tried to use them. Usually, the demos look incredible, but the moment you try to put them to some real work, well, they fell apart. This is frustrating because the promise is real. There is so much repetitive work that we can do inside a browser. So the question is how actually we make these agents work. Now, there are a number of different approaches. The one that we are going to be looking at in this video is from Amazon. It's called Nova Act. They're not trying to build a general agent that can do everything in your browser, as some companies are trying to do, but they are focused on these boring, repetitive tasks, such as filling out a form thousands of times without breaking. And this is the type of work that the developers usually care about. They have a term for this. They're calling these agents Normcore agents. I'll show you how this works, and then we're going to look at a practical example. But first, I would like to thank Amazon for making this video possible. So what exactly does this mean? It's their term for boring but important stuff. They're not trying to build a general browser agent, but these are agents that reliably fill out the same form 1,000 times without breaking. And as developers, that's exactly what we are interested in. So think about the stuff that you actually need automated. For example, running your checkout flow after every deploy and posting the screenshots to Slack. Now, these are not glamorous tasks, but they are the ones that eat up hours every week. So the pattern here is very clear. You're looking at QA testing, form filling, or data extraction. So these are tasks that are repetitive, well-defined, and need to work every single time. So Nova Act are a number of different models that Amazon have trained. Now, how are they different under the hood? Most browser agents learn by watching you show them videos of somebody filling out a form, and they try to imitate human actions. But Nova Act takes a very different approach. So Amazon built what they called web gym simulated environments, where the agent can experiment freely. So it tries something, it fails, learns why it failed, and try again. Now here the idea is that it's learning cause and effect, not just mimicking the behavior, and hence it actually understands what it's doing. Now this whole experience is designed specifically for developers, so you can start in the playground to build the prototype that you want, and then you can take it to the IDE of your choice to experiment further, customize it, and you can deploy your agent at scale to AWS. Now, there are situations where the agent may not be able to do certain actions. In those cases, Nova Act gives you the ability to keep human in the loop. So in those situations, it's able to escalate certain actions to the human. So let's quickly build an agent, and I'll walk you through how this looks in practice. This is the Nova Playground on Amazon. A link is going to be in the video description. You can build your custom agents, you can test them, and then you can customize them further within the IDE of your choice. We are looking at Amazon Nova Act, which are the UI agents that can take actions on the UI. Now, when you try to run a demo on the playground or create your own custom agent, it starts off its own sandbox environment where you can see the agent take actions. So there are a few examples. For this Hello World example, you provide the web link where you want the agent to go and take actions, then what action to take, and then you can just play it. It is going to start the sandbox environment, and you're going to see that the agent take actions on the website. So this is a simulated environment that they have created. And you can also look at the thought process of what the agent is thinking. And now the agent is taking an action. So it's able to click on different components. So here they have provided a number of different demos that shows different capabilities. So the first one is the agent capability to take action on a website. Here's an example of a QA agent that takes multiple different actions based on what it's saying. And I'll highly recommend to go through some of these demos, but let's create our own custom agent that has to go through a multi-step process to accomplish a task. So I'm going to call it a checkout agent. And let's say we want to test the checkout flow on this specific website. So you can actually add items to your cart, and then you can check out, provide name and zip code. And this is how it's going to look like. Now we want the agent to test this workflow. And this is something you could do for QA. Now, in this case, it's a multi-step process where we have specific instructions on each step, what the agent is supposed to be doing. And now we can run this. So on the playground, it's going to create a sandbox environment, and you can actually see all the action that are being taken. So it opened that web link that we provided, and now the agent is providing the login information based on the information that we have here. It's going to add items to the cart based on what we are asking it to do. And now it's supposed to click on the checkout, provide the user information, name, the first name, last name, and zip code. So this is a really good example of something that you want to do on a repetitive basis when you're building a product and testing the checkout flow. So it has tested the complete flow. Seems like everything is working. Now, this is a great example to run it in a playground, but if you want to put it in a production system, they give you the ability to download this flow and further develop it. In this case, we're going to download the Python file. So this comes with an SDK that you can build on top of the workflow that you have developed in the playground. So let me walk you through an example of that. In order to further develop, we'll need to download the NovaAct extension. Once you install it, here's what it looks like. We'll need to first authenticate with either AWS or API key. Now you can get the API key by going to the get API key, then click on generate new API key, provide a name. Okay, so now here we can provide an API key just by clicking here and then enter your API key at the top. On the build tab is where you're going to run your own workflows that you create. They also have some really nice templates, very similar to what they had on the playground that you can test out. But we're going to try the same code that we built in the playground here. So I'm going to click on open here. Okay, so this is the same code that we were using on the playground. Now, by default, it's in the headless mode, so you're not going to see the browser, but we're going to change this to false so we can actually see in real time what exactly is happening. So again, very similar flow. We tell it to go to this website and then take a sequence of different actions. Now we're going to run this and you're going to see that it opens up a new browser tab for us. And then based on the instructions that we have provided, it's going to first log in, then select different items, and then test the whole checkout flow. Okay, so right now it's adding items and it's able to check the whole flow locally. As a developer, this is going to be extremely helpful if you want to do QA or testing in general, or some repetitive tasks that you need to perform on regular basis. Okay, so pretty neat. Now you can also look at the run that was performed. So here's the different actions that the agent was taking, and different UI components are actually visually highlighted for you. Now, the best part is that once you're happy, you can deploy your app and run serverless on AWS. So do check out NovaAct. If you want to try it, the playground is free, and you can also run the local development for free using a free API key from the playground. Links are in the description. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you in the next one.